going on, everybody? So today I'm going to show you guys something that I've used my entire career, um, almost 10 years in, from how to keep track of ratios or metrics, KPIs that are, again, every KPI is situational, but I think that these KPIs are crucial when it comes into, figuring out your roadmap and how to be successful. Um, One's going to be, a tracker for qualifying leads. Next is going to be a tracker for meetings, and then an Excel file. And I'll show you that on a weekly tracker. Um, all three documents will be uploaded. The links will be in the bio, so you can upload them. And formulas for the Excel file on the weekly tracker are also going to be already tied into there. So you'll be good to go. You can tweak it however you want to tweak it. So let's get into it. So first off, we're going to look at this. What do we got here? So this is a tracker I use. I still like to do manually, but I upload it. I upload it daily in Excel or whatever, my CRM, whatever you're using to track lead tracker, right? So we have here is just a dash means you didn't get anybody, and X means you got some information, but you realize that company was not qualified specifically to what you consider a qualified lead, or a qualified a qualified lead, right? Specific to whatever it is you're trying to your qualified specs are. And then lastly, it's X and zero, or an X with a circle around it means, hey, listen, I talked to someone at that company, was able to qualify, uncover challenges that they were having, and now it's going into, from a company, it's going into my pipeline as qualified. So I like to put outcomes, meaning, anything that I thought stood out during the call, what I could have done better, and whatnot. I just like to keep track of stuff like that. Now, let me go to the next slide. This is meetings. So this is where I look at is, okay, hey, listen, now I'm only going to strictly call on companies that are already qualified. I'm looking to get meetings with, for me, it's usually C-level, right? Whatever your DM is, that's great. But notice you're only going to be tracking the calls you go into to book a meeting. So obviously, dash, nothing. X means you got that DM, but you weren't able to set the meeting. This is important. I like to put outcomes on here when it comes into why I didn't set the meeting, right? What could I have done different? Put the company name, then put it in my CRM, right? And then also circle, X plus circle means you set the meeting. And I also like to write it down real quick. I don't upload everything right off the bat. I upload it right after, because if I'm in the groove of like setting meetings, or like a phone blitz, I don't want to take my mind off that and go into the CRM. So I'll just write it down. Hey, got a meeting at 10 with X company. This is also a good to keep track when you see this. It's like, say you got a bunch of X's, but so you talk to that DM, you didn't set the meeting. That's going to show you, okay, you need to work on setting your meetings, because something's going up, something's happening. If you're not able, you're getting a bunch of DMs, that's great, but you're not being able to set the meeting. So you'll be able to figure out, pivot, or not pivot, but you'll be able to pinpoint exactly, okay, I could do this better. That's where the outcomes come. Excuse me. All right. And then right here, you look at this. This is like the weekly tracker, right? So this is for leads, right? I like to know specifically how many hours it takes. So say for whatever your goal is, right? You want to get so many leads per hour, right? This is just, I threw numbers in here, but I like to track how many hours I spent, dialing. You most likely you're going to be dialing unless you're going door to door, but how many hours you spent just strictly going through companies, trying to figure out if they were a lead or not, qualified lead or not. And then how many dials, or if you're going door to door still, how many doors I used to track, how many doors it took, and then add those up every day. And then you'll know is, okay, you need X amount of hours, right, to get X amount of leads. You need X amount of dials or doors to get X amount of leads. Moving forward, it's gonna help you plan your week a lot better. And it's like a game too. You could say is like, okay, this took me almost 4 hours to get a lead. I want to knock that down to 2 hours by Q2, right? So then it's just like, I like to think of it as a game. And then slide two, meetings, right? Same concept, how many hours it took, how many dials it took, and same concept as leads, but this is going to help you figure out how to plan your week better. So moving forward in your career, say you have an off month, you'll be able to say, okay, well, hey, listen, this is, I don't want to get too granular on this, but it's like, hey, boss, why didn't I hit my numbers? Well, I sold like 3 deals, spent a lot of time having to make sure that those got up and running. I wasn't, it takes me 40 hours a week to get, X amount of appointments. I was only able to get 20 hours a week due to those 3 meetings. It's going to sound a lot better knowing that you know exactly why you didn't hit your number versus, yeah, it was just an off month, right? Same thing. It's like, okay, why are you killing it? It's good to know why you're killing it versus, I'm just nice. And it's just, you got to have some calculations to why you're doing things and what's happening to progress, right? Especially if you ever want to get into leadership, you can't just say, "Hey, I'm good," right? I'm like that person where it was just like, can he repeat what he does himself, right? Well, I was so calculated with how I was getting to where I was getting and what I was doing was working that it was actually I had all the bullets in my gun, right? It was like, listen, this works. Clearly, you want to try something new. This is working. These are my numbers. Yada yada yada. So, man, got a cough, but anyways, hopefully this helps you out, gives you a little bit of a more detailed roadmap to get to wherever you want to go. If you have any questions, reach out to me, but the links will be in the bio for all these 2 PDFs and the Excel file with all the formulas. Appreciate it, guys.